Hey guys, it's Mark with a message from our sponsor, the Oklahoma Sooners Shirt of the Month Club, offered by thefanstop.com. Get new and officially licensed Oklahoma Sooners t-shirts, long sleeves, and hoodies delivered to your doorstep monthly. The shirts are super soft and super comfortable. They have two plans. The standard is t-shirts only for $21.95 a month. The premium offers long sleeves and hoodies between the months of October and February and is $26.95 a month, and both plans offer free shipping. The Fan Stop is Oklahoma-based and has over 30 other colleges also available for their Shirt of the Month Club. I was surprised when I went on to thefanstop.com and saw just how many different schools they had available. It's basically everyone in the Big 12, everyone you're going to want in the Big 12 at least, and most of the Power 5. They've got a great thing going over there. If you like what you're hearing and you want to go get yourself a Shirt of the Month Club subscription, tell them we sent you by using promo code DAGUYZ, that's DAGUYZ, at checkout for 15% off of your first 6 months of t-shirts. Again, that's promo code DAGUYZ, DAGUYZ, for 15% off of your first 6 months worth of t-shirts. Tell them we sent you.
There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Oh, what's up, and welcome into episode number 16 of the Program Guys podcast. My name is Mason Prince, joined with you as always by Patrick Hertzberger, Matt Gann, Mark Hall. No Ryan Tyson today. My man is busy. Today is Tuesday, April 26th. And folks, we are back, but we never went anywhere. Baker Mayfield told us that. It was an amazing week of the spring game. Boys, how we doing?
In general, I think three of us are a little tired from the weekend.
The boys went to Vegas.
Yeah.
The boys went to Vegas. How did we come out on top?
Well, Ryan couldn't even make it to the recording tonight, so I think we know one of us did not.
If that tells you anything, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Mark, I heard you did well. You did okay?
Me and Pat were hitting the tables together, and for some, those hands were just hot.
Okay.
You know, and when the hand's hot, you trust it. And look, Patrick and I, when we're in a good situation, we also know when to pull out, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems that Ryan and Matt, put in the same situations, haven't perfected their own pull-out method. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, really, it's really important to know when you need to pull out.
Exactly, because sometimes it feels so good. You're looking at everything in front of you, and you're thinking, how can this get any better?
You don't know.
You're really wishing you pulled out in the end. Right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Matt?
No, it's a great way to describe it. I don't know what else I could say other than that. Yeah, 100%.
Great.
Me and Ryan don't know how to do it. That's why we came out on losers this weekend. So fair enough.
Boys, there was about 75,000 people who didn't pull out of Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium.
Yep.
They were there for the spring game. Mark, hold it together. They were there for the spring game. 75,000 fans. It is the largest spring game attendance in OU history. It is the largest spring game attendance in college football this year. Brent Venables called everybody out, called the fans out. They showed out. I was dumb. I said 60,000. Blew me out of the water. They had
dumb though.
It wasn't
you
even
were dumb though.
It wasn't
Your
even
prediction would have broken whatever the record is, right?
Yep.
I think so.
No,
except for then
68
Georgia
was
this
Georgia.
year.
Right.
Except for
Yeah.
Georgia this year.
Yeah.
So how is it dumb to predict a record? We just happen
Crazy.
to be even better than that.
Yep.
Yeah. You really got to give credit to the OU fans because they took the call to action and they listened to BV and they showed up and showed out. And a lot of those people were there like we were, like we wanted to be to support the program. A good amount of people were there for Baker Mayfield. A good amount of people were there just because they wanted to see what the team looked like. And I think they got a good idea of on all fronts. You know, you got support, you got to see all the alumni who came into town. I thought it was super weird that Sam Bradford showed up to Baker's trophy or his statue presentation on Friday night, but on Saturday during the game, Bradford was absent from the picture, from the sidelines, and it was noted. I saw a few people say he wasn't there, and it was kind of weird.
That is weird.
I wonder why. I imagine just like a scheduling thing, right? You don't come the night
Maybe.
before if it's an OU problem.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a weird,
100%.
just a weird thing. But what did you guys make of? You were in Vegas enjoying the Vegas things, but I mean, you had to see it on Twitter, see it on social media. 75,000 plus there. They only opened 2 gates. The lines were so long, and people still waited. If I would have seen that, I would have been like, "Forget this. I'm done." What did you guys think about
it? There's one picture where I guess it's the southeast side or like gate where it's wrapping all the way around to the field house. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. This was a spring game. There's not much to say past that, but it's awesome.
Yep. I mean, Brent Venables keeps saying best is the standard, and we were the best fan base this weekend. And I love that.
It was pretty dope.
Absolutely. And I'm proud to be an Oklahoman today. That's why I wore this very sweatshirt. That is the symbol of Oklahoma and also the symbol of me and Mark friendship, because I bought this very sweatshirt from him back at OU, and it was maybe one of the best purchases I have ever made. But I stand here today. Not only did Brent Venables shout out to all the Oklahomans to come out, but they did. They showed up in record numbers, just like everyone else said. I saw the pictures. I could not believe that was a spring game. I thought they would only have the lower bowl open, which, is still a good amount of people, right? But they even opened up the upper sections. It was just absolutely
I wonder if
incredible.
they had to adjust. I wonder if they like,
probably did.
You got to open this up.
They probably did. I can't believe it. I was super excited to see it. I'm sure all the players, the alumni, everyone that was involved were maybe just as shocked to see everyone roll out. So it was great to see, and great start to the season for sure.
If you want to see Matt's sweatshirt, be sure to subscribe and like our YouTube channel. You can watch us on YouTube. You can also find us on all your streaming platforms, whatever that is: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, whatever you want to do. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Program Guys with a Z. Follow us on Instagram at Program Guys with a Z. On Facebook, our Facebook
just
page.
Go like the page. It's the Program Guys Podcast.
There you go. Go like our page. As always, we appreciate it, and like and subscribe on our YouTube. That really, really helps us out. What did we think about Baker Mayfield's statue? There was a lot of hate, but a lot of like positive, I guess. Like, it was positive because Baker was there, and he's an electric dude, and he just knows how to get the people going. But the statue itself, I saw one person say it looks like Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I can't unsee that.
It doesn't look like Baker. That's just the thing. People get these wrong all the time. Statues are hard. Faces are hard. But that doesn't look like Baker.
So
I think
go ahead, Pat.
The pose is cool. The headband is cool. They did everything right there except just the execution on the face.
I don't know how, and I'm not an engineer. I'm not a sculptor. So whatever. I probably am going to sound like an idiot. But with the technology now with 3D printing, how is it hard to make a statue like their face be 100% accurate? Literally put him in there, scan his face 3D style, 3D print it, put bronze over it. I feel like it's a no-brainer.
I didn't know we had a $1 million idea
on campus at OU.
Yeah,
but
$1
million
printing, 3D printing and a bronze statue, I think, are two.
I don't think
you're
the
not going to
technology is
print
there.
bronze. You're going to
I know.
print
I'm
it
just saying.
and
I think
cast it.
the differences in how you do 3D printing for a bronze statue.
Do a 3D print and then dip it in bronze.
Yeah, I don't think Matt understands where I'm coming from.
I don't think it's as easy as you guys make it seem. We're going to have to look this up. I don't think it's as easy as you guys.
I think it's also probably more of a thing within the sculpting community to hand sculpt or to purchase a hand sculpted kind of piece than
that's true.
A printed one. But that's also guessing, like we're all doing right now.
Hey, I do want to say I called it on last week's pod. I knew there was going to be a headband.
You did.
I was right about
Yep.
that. It's iconic. It had to be there. I'm so glad that at least that was something on the statue. That
I wasn't
would
expecting
make it resemble Baker. The headband. So glad to
OU
see that.
insider Matt Gann knew
Hey.
about the headband.
I know. I had a really good feeling about the pose because the pose is so easily like identifiable. Like, you know what game it was, what it was, and like just when it was. So I thought that made a lot of sense. But it looked great. He had a quote during halftime that I said at the beginning of the podcast that I really, really like. It was just, "We didn't go anywhere, but we're back," when he was addressing the fans.
Mhm.
And I thought that was super cool because Baker's essentially showing his support for the Brent Venables era. He said multiple times that he talked to Brent for 30 minutes on Friday, and he said he was ready to run through a brick wall for him. He said he was ready to strap up again and play for OU. So that's super cool, knowing a Bob Stoops era guy and a Lincoln Riley era guy met with Brent, talked to Brent, and was all in from the jump.
Mhm.
And he's a massive guy to get. Like, it goes like Baker, Boz, Billy Sims, and
Bob Stoops.
and Bob Stoops. Like, you got to have those guys support for OU fans to be all in on you. And that's good.
I also liked what the Boz tweeted and posted on Instagram and said, "We have strong leadership now."
Yeah.
And I like that.
The
a lot.
now in that tweet is like, that is pound for pound the strongest 3 letters in a tweet we've had like ever. He was never posting about Lincoln Riley like that.
Never. Well, guys, let's go ahead and get to the game now. The game itself was interesting. I think we all kind of have some thoughts on that game. Real quick, just a couple stats for you. Dylan Gabriel, 19 for 28, 250 yards, 1 touchdown, and that 1 pick. I thought he looked, okay. I know it was super windy. There were gusts of 35 from what I heard.
Mhm.
His first pass of the game was a deep ball, and it wasn't anywhere close. I think because it was so windy, but his mobility really impressed me. I thought he had pretty good accuracy at times. But he didn't wow me. He didn't jump off the page. And that's something that I think we got to get used to. This guy isn't Baker. He's not Kyler. He's not Spencer Rattler even. I feel like he's.
You're just quoting my text to you this weekend because that's what I said.
Go. I'm going to let you.
None of these quarterbacks.
Yeah, go.
Well, okay. So I didn't watch it live, but I watched the whole game earlier today. And the thing with Dylan is he absolutely has to be the starter at the beginning of the year because the offense is too fast for any of these other guys to be doing anything with it. Nick Evers has a better arm right now than Dylan does, but he doesn't know where he's going with the ball when he snaps it, and Dylan does. And when he has to get up to the line and get the offense ready to go, he doesn't know what he's doing, and Dylan does. The mobility was awesome. Like Mason said, he had that first big play where he's rolling out to the left and he throws the ball to Theo and is able to put it outside of the reach of the receiver at the same time. That was awesome. That was one of the best on the move passes we've seen from a quarterback in a while.
That was a little Baker-esque.
That was a little Baker, but he's faster than Baker. He was running towards the left sideline with the quickness, baby. That's it. That said, though, the moment Nick Evers learns how to be an adult college quarterback, the job is going to be his. But he's just not there, and he's clearly not there.
And Nick Evers was also moving well.
Yeah, he was.
So I felt they were both truly dual threat. I wanted to see more Micah Bowens. I mean, he had that awesome touchdown pass, but
like Pat said, he was 1 for 3, 95 yards and a touchdown. That was the one pass for 95 yards that's going to jump out at you. That looks really cool. Jaden Gibson was the guy who caught it. He had 3 catches on the day, 115 and that 95-yard touchdown. I wasn't crazy about Jaden Gibson in the first half. Jaden Gibson had 2 drops that in my mind were inexcusable. you can't have it. I get he's a young kid, and I got to give him a little more slack than that. But if we're going to be nitpicky, because we let's be real, guys. Like Eric Bailey said in the interview last week, we kind of got to tone down. We got to level our expectations off a little bit. So I'm just kind of nitpicking a little bit to try to make myself not think that this team's going to win a national title right away. So Jaden Gibson was a guy I thought needed to catch more passes. He had 3 receptions, but he was targeted like 9 times. So that's an issue for me. Whereas like a guy who he was being compared to during the game that I heard, like a CeeDee Lamb's targeted 9 times. He's catching 7. Like that's just the way CeeDee was. So
I don't think that's maybe that's the comparison people are making, but it shouldn't be. I think that I actually came away very impressed with Jaden Gibson. He is obviously more drops than is acceptable. No doubt about that. But physically, he is something that we have not had. He's bigger than CeeDee. He's taller than CeeDee. The note that I wrote down was Jaden Gibson is going to be everything that we thought Charleston Rambo should have been. That's who I'm comparing him to. Just a long, big-bodied guy, especially once he grows into it. And the targets, like you said, 9 targets, that stood out to me more than anything. They're going to get passes his direction. I wouldn't be surprised if he leads the team in receiving touchdowns next year, because we get to the red zone and suddenly there's 3 balls being passed his way, and he's a early enrollee freshman.
Yeah.
So I think they want to get him involved. That's what I took away from that.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And I mean, before this game, we knew that we had 3 really good wide receivers, and now we at least have a 4th option that they're going to throw the ball to. So that's really positive in my eyes.
Good core.
I think a big positive for me in the receivers was, one, seeing Marvin Mims get a touchdown. He was running wide open when he caught that touchdown, but it's just good. Anytime Marvin's involved, it's going to be a good thing, like no matter what. So he's the best receiver on the team, in my opinion. He needs to be a focus point of the offense. And also Theo Weiss, one catch for 48 yards. Anytime Theo Weiss does anything, I'm going to be very happy, just because I'm rooting for the kid and I want him to do well.
One thing on Mims, he's so dangerous on those crossing routes, and Dylan Gabriel does not know where to put the ball on a crossing route. And that's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Or at least he didn't in the spring game.
Yeah. Before we move on to defense, Matt, did you have anything you saw we haven't even touched on the running backs yet, but did you see anything that you liked on the offense?
That's exactly what I was going to talk about, because I think that's the one position outside of offensive linemen that we're very thin at and maybe just not as experienced, right? So I think that's what I was really looking forward to. But we got Devante Barnes going 17 carries, 60 yards, 2 tutties. Eric Gray, 4 carries, 54, and the JUCO transfer Trayvon Walker, 13 carries, 55 yards, and a touchdown. So I was pretty impressed with not only the number of carries, but just the effectiveness of the running backs. And looks like the offensive line was able to get some good push up there on the line. So I know that's where Venables is really focused at, is the trenches. That's where he wants to start, is both offensively and defensively. And I know we're about to talk about the defense, but really like what I'm seeing from the running backs. Hopefully we definitely employ that a little bit more than we have done in years past, because we definitely need a good running game before we can get anywhere.
I'm all in on Devante Barnes. I'm all in. I've seen what I needed to see, and I'm there. So give the kid some carries when September rolls around. Eric Gray is going to be the starting running back. He deserves to be. He even showed it in the spring game. He just looks better than everyone else, in my opinion. So I think Eric Gray, like Mark said in the last episode, he knew Eric was going to get just a few touches. We don't need to see a whole lot of him. And like Mark pointed out, this was really going to be about those younger guys and seeing what they had. And we did. We saw what they had. The thing that I'm concerned about is the offensive line. Their run blocking was great. I was not happy with their pass protection. I know that they were mix and match on the red and white team both, so we didn't really have a full-on starting offensive line. And there was no Andrew Rame playing, so I get that. But dude, I don't know if it's an indictment on the offensive line or if that defensive line is really, really good. But I get he's a mobile quarterback, but he was rolling out way too much. There was way too much pressure in his face.
I don't have anything except that I agree with you. We were sending guys a lot on defense.
Mhm.
The only times I noticed Jaron Kanik on the field was when he was blitzing off the edge.
Yeah.
I like it. He's running guys down late in plays or he's blitzing off the edge. I didn't actually see him in a tackle, like right there. But can I say one thing real fast on the running backs again? Is that Devante Barnes looks bigger than I expected. 6'2", he really is like all of 205, right? And one can expect he'll get even bigger before the fall.
Hasn't even had a full summer with Schmitty.
Exactly. And this guy Walker is my kind of freaking running back. This short, kind of stout LaDainian Tomlinson style dude. Give me that all day. And we've had luck with JUCO transfers in the past. I would not be surprised if he ends up being a big part of the offense. It's not like he has none of these guys come in with Jeff Levy's experience, right? Except for Dylan. So he's on equal footing, I would think.
I think you're right. I didn't, in terms of one more thing on the offense before we move on, I didn't see a whole lot of Braden Willis. I mean, 2 catches, 31 yards. I don't know if that was by design or by just not getting open. But I would have liked to see Braden Willis more involved. But that one play action pass over the middle to him, he's gonna score 5 touchdowns on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Loved it.
That was an awesome play design, and he's gonna be great with it.
Yeah.
I think we're all aligned that he's going to be great and continue to be great for us.
I think he will. I think he's got potential to be that red zone threat that Mark Andrews was. Not saying he's going to be a Mark Andrews type guy like in the NFL. I'm just saying he's got the ability to be a red zone guy like Demetri Flowers was, like Mark Andrews was. Like I think he has a good future, good year ahead of him. Like I said, the pass rush was amazing. I thought the defense did fairly well. You can nitpick the secondary a little bit if you want to. Some busted coverage. I think that just has to do with a lot of young guys on the field at times in my mind, but really the defensive line was great on both sides for the red team and white team. 5 sacks apiece, a lot of pressure in the faces of those quarterbacks. Got to give credit to Marcus Stripling, who had a fantastic day. He had 5 tackles, 4 of them for loss, 2 sacks. Ethan Downs, 4 tackles, 2 of those for loss, 2 sacks and a fumble recovery. I thought those 2 guys kind of stood out for me. What about you guys?
Yeah, I was going to say, I know we're about to talk about it, so I'm already going to hit on it because you already mentioned it. I think the MVP that I saw was Marcus Stripling. I think there's been a lot of hype, a lot of talk around him in spring practice already. I got a quote from Venables just a couple days before the game about looking for some leadership on the team other than Gabriel and Theo Weiss, and he's looking towards Marcus Stripling on the defensive side. And what he said is Marcus Stripling is really, and he would be the first to tell you, he's transforming right before our eyes. It's one of the coolest things ever. So he's already been on the team for a couple of years. I think this is really his breakout year with that Venable style defense will really let him thrive and what he's good at. And you can already see in the game, I mean, he's a beast. 4 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. He's going to be getting after it. He was my MVP of the game, which I know we're about to talk about as well, but I was really impressed by him.
Yeah, we can touch on it in a second for sure. In terms of a guy who just looks like a grown man, Reggie Grimes is a scary dude. And if that dude can play like he looks, I'm not saying he can't, but I'm saying if he does, he's going to be a problem for a lot of people because that dude is a grown man. He looks terrifying. And Danny Stutzman is another guy who looks just like Schmitty had a good time working with him. And I think a summer is going to be even better for that, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think the defense is only going to improve after a summer because they're going to get bigger, stronger, faster. and the way that defense plays, it's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to it. Mark, do you have anything?
Yeah, so just a few things that I wanted to hit on. Joshua Eaton looked really good to me. He had the pass breakup on Jaden Gibson on the sideline. And look, Jaden Gibson's 6'5", but Josh Eaton's all of 6'2", and he's going to jump up and make a play. And he did that. I think he clearly took advantage of DJ Graham not being available for the game with the kind of showing that he put on. Danny Stutzman is so fast. That's the thing. There's a play where Trayvon Walker was breaking it off to the left side and actually finds a hole. And Danny Stutzman, coming off the weak side, runs all the way through the hole that Trayvon Walker just went through and like catches up to the play. That's not normal stuff. That's not regular. Between Danny Stutzman and Jaron Kanek and Ethan Downs, we have three of the sneakiest athletes, high motor guys that you could ever get. So, yeah, I think the defense looked good overall. I gotta say, I was a little disappointed by how quickly the offense, just with its pace, was able to put points on the board early. It was impressive for the offense, but I don't know. I felt like the defense got beat up early before really coming together, right?
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think you bring up a good point that offense is going to cause problems for a lot of defenses. If you get on them early and you don't get stops against that offense on the first 2 downs, you're screwed because they're not going to stop for you to sub. So those guys are going to kind of be sucking wind. And if you're running down the field and moving the ball quick, it's going to be tough. And we saw that it was. Mark's right.
As iffy as the pass blocking looked, the run blocking looked awesome throughout the game on, here and there.
Yeah, it did.
McCabe Tower was awesome. Tyler Guyton looks like he could put on another 100 pounds and still play the way that he's playing. I think that they've kind of rebuilt the line in an offseason.
Yeah.
So, if they can get the pass blocking down, I think we're just going to dominate up front. Man, people are going to take things that I'm saying and y'all are saying from this.
I know.
And it's going to be so bad. We're going to be so wrong on so many things.
Oh, I know, dude. But it's all right. Anything else from the spring game that stuck out to you guys before we move on to our MVPs?
I honestly thought the defensive pass coverage was really good too. I don't know if that's because Dylan was also throwing into tight coverage pretty often, but the pass coverage was definitely there. And the white team with the 2 turnovers in a row like that, I mean, really, really awesome stuff. There was definitely glimpses of greatness, more than I thought we would see in the defense.
Yeah, I think – sorry, I said we're done with offense, but going back, you said something about Gabriel that made me think – I know it was windy, and I'm not trying to make excuses for the kid, but anytime there was tight coverage, I feel like it was an incomplete pass. I feel like Gabriel's ability to put the ball in tight spaces and tight windows is just not there yet. And maybe that comes with a summer and a fall camp, but I don't know. That's just I'm taking a small segment of the game and like blowing it out of proportion, but that's
it was there.
No, he threw 32 passes for a reason. They wanted to see this.
Yeah.
And the thing that bothered me was there's one pass, for example, where he's throwing the ball, the one that got intercepted by Kendall Dennis on the sideline, right? He's throwing that ball deep on the right sideline. That's got to be on Farouk's right shoulder and 8 yards further down the field than it was. And instead he's bringing it to the inside of the field and both players are having to slow down to come back for it. That's not the deep ball thrower that you can be, right? This offense is going to bang, 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 deep shot. And that's not it. So it'll be interesting to see, because at the same time, in the first drive, he's got that deep pass to Theo Weiss, and it's right on the money.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So it's just tough to know, I think. Definitely a concerning few plays here and there. I agree, but at the same time, it's a bunch of children at the position otherwise.
For sure. Let's move on to our MVPs. Matt, who you got?
I already talked about it. Marcus Stripling. I think he's going to have a breakout year. Can't wait to watch him play.
Love it. I'm going to go with the pass rush. I think what Todd Bates and Miguel Chavis are doing, you can tell that there's a reason they're very high paid assistants and why Brent brought them in. I think they're doing a great job with the pieces that they have, and I can't wait to see what the season looks like. Pat?
All right, I'm going to put on the hot take hat.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
The day
Oh.
for
They
this
weren't
one,
ready.
this MVP.
This early? No.
Yes,
world.
yes. Agree with everything Mark said earlier about Tyree Walker. I love Eric Gray, and I hope I'm wrong about this hot take, but he's not proven at OU yet. And I think Tyree Walker is going to come in, and I mean, after a few games, I could see him actually splitting running handoffs with Eric, and I think he beats out Barnes as well. I'm excited about Barnes. Everything you guys said about Barnes was good, but
I kind of
Tyree
like
Walker.
Pat,
I mean,
can
that short explosiveness, it was incredible. I loved it.
Yes.
And we haven't had a running back like that since I don't even know who was our last 5'10", 180, 190-pound running back who's small and explosive and can catch balls out of the back and
Been a long time.
run and be dynamic and all that stuff. And I'm excited for Tyree Walker. I think that's good. I think he got so many carries because they wanted to see this stuff. And Eric Gray, 54 yards. But he found one hole and the defense was lined up on the left and he ran to his left. So I don't know.
Patrick, I was going to hold myself back. Like, I don't know if y'all could tell I was holding back a little earlier.
A little bit.
I don't with the hat.
I'm going to hot take this hot take.
Uh-oh.
Tyree Walker will be starting by
I think it's
the
possible.
midpoint of
I
the
think
season.
it's possible.
Wow.
The guy was a stud in JUCO. He's proved that he can take carries at that level, and we want to get up and get moving. Eric Gray is a platoon guy. Tyree Walker doesn't have to be.
Yeah. And guys, actually, I'm concerned about something. I don't know if this is a website browser issue, but I was on the OU roster just trying to find Tyree Walker on the roster because I wanted to look up stats or whatever. Couldn't find him. And I don't know if I was just searching incorrectly, but he wasn't on the OU
He's
Sooner
not on the
page.
spring roster.
And-
He's not on the spring football
Yeah,
roster. I
he's
just
not
looked it
officially
up.
on the spring roster. And I need that updated tomorrow with a scholarship if that's not already a thing.
Wow. Yeah.
Guys,
That's weird.
guys, I was thinking of a small running back, just like you said, Patrick. The
Mhm.
guy that comes to mind that I used to watch in the early 2000s, Quentin Griffin, 5'7",
Oh.
under 90 pounds. So could be a very similar comparison if the hot take comes true. But that's what exactly came to mind was Quentin Griffin.
You know what I'm going to say? National champion, Quentin Griffin.
Oh,
put some
don't do
natty
this to us.
champ.
Don't do
I mean,
this to us.
How many
early,
years does
too early
Tyler
for that.
have?
I don't know. Is he a grad transfer or just a transfer? I have no idea.
He's a JUCO transfer.
I mean,
Oh,
he's
okay,
probably
well,
going
yeah,
to the
he's
draft
coming
next
in-
year. So it doesn't matter.
No,
He's
it
gonna
does matter.
I know.
It does matter because we're going to end the Big 12 with an at least 2-year run on top of the Big 12. And
Yep.
it matters because we need these guys to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mark, your
My
MVP.
turn?
Yep.
Brent Venables, man, it's easy. It's easy for me. I just some of the notes that I wrote down. BV screaming at a defensive lineman while the O-line gets a false start. That's the best. That's the best, right? Is like, hey, they didn't do anything wrong. Why are you so mad? But it's
They
so
did.
good. Kendall Dennis intercepts that pass from Dylan Gabriel. And once he's done celebrating with his team, BV goes over to him and, he's like congratulating him and stuff, but then he's teaching him something else. He's like talking about his technique on something. No one does stuff like that after a big play, but he comes at it and it's so just, hey, I'm here to help you. I want you to be the best you can be. Between that and just the way he opened the entire thing, leading the Boomer Sooner chant, bringing all of the alumni in to break, he's so proud to be the head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners.
Mhm.
And It comes through in everything he does. God, we got lucky, man. This man is awesome. I'm so impressed.
I mean, look, man, there's not a lot of coaches who not only invites any alumni who's available to come to their spring game, but also calls them out to midfield before the game to take a family photo. That was impromptu. That wasn't on his script. Brent did that because he wanted to do that, because he wanted those alumni to get their recognition. And that's just something you don't, like Mark said, it's just something you don't get everywhere.
It's an innate thing that, it's hard not to make the comparison. It's an innate thing that Lincoln Riley never had, because to Lincoln Riley, football is always X's and O's. That's how we're going to win. Brent gets that it's bigger. Yeah. And that's something that I really have appreciated about it.
One thing. So I love that he was on the field with a microphone on his hand and all of that stuff. But that also means he wasn't calling the plays, the defensive plays. And I don't know if that's foreshadowing that he won't, but I was under the impression that he would.
No, I think it's Todd Bates. I think it's Todd Bates.
Okay.
He said he wasn't going. I mean, who knows?
Todd Bates' title is co-defensive coordinator. So I would assume Todd's the one calling plays. And Brent, I guarantee you, has a very large hand in the game plan.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when it comes to what the play call is, I think it's Todd's job. And that's okay by me.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that. If Brent trusts him to do it, then I trust him to do it. That's how I'm going to look at a lot of stuff this year. All right, baby. Let's circle the wagons. Are you ready, Matt? You ready to circle?
Always ready.
Refreshed
The
wagon is fresh off a trip to Vegas. We're back in Texas. Give it to me, Matt.
Of course. Some good updates from the weekend, just from a couple of programs, because obviously a couple have already ended their season. So a couple of programs I got some news updates for. Let's talk about some OU's women's tennis. They were playing the Big 12 championship this past weekend. They 4-0 Kansas, played Kansas State 4-0, went to the title game, played Texas, who they played a couple of weeks ago, who are top 5 in the nation, end up losing the title match, came in second. 4 matches to 2, but they still have the regionals coming up May 6th through the 8th, and that will also go to supers and then to the championship. So I think they have a good run in them. Again, you want them to win the title, right? But they already won the regular season Big 12, which is a huge accomplishment. They've got a lot of good players, whether it's they're playing singles or doubles. So they've got a good run in them going towards the regionals, and really looking forward to see what they do there.
Real quick, Matt, did you see that BV is trying to take your job? Because at halftime of the spring game, he literally did his own Circle the Wagon segment.
He did.
And I was about to send him a cease and desist.
I couldn't believe it.
I swear he just took Matt's notes from last week.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah. Copyright. We're gonna have to do something about that.
If he comes on, it's okay.
Yeah, Brent, come on the pod, and we will not send a cease and desist letter. Go ahead, Matt.
We love it. So got to talk a little bit about softball. Obviously, it's probably the biggest program right now. 42-1, just coming off a 3-game series against Iowa State. Run ruled them twice, 9-0 by the 5th inning. One of the games, it was pretty close. They were down 3-1 towards the 2nd inning. Ended up coming back and winning 6-4. So they swept the series. And Aldo currently sits now at 110 bombs. And every time I watch replays on Twitter or wherever it is, and I hear Chris Plank talk about the bombs and just like his exclamation, it is incredible to hear. She's got 110 and counting. I don't even know what number to put on it.
It's like everyone she hits is a no doubter.
Yeah.
It's like it never like scrapes the wall or like has a chance to be robbed. It's like everyone in the stadium knows that it's gone as soon as she touches it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's a moonshot. That is for absolutely sure. They play Kansas City, and then they have a 3-game series against Kansas coming up as well. Haven't talked about it in a while, but OU's men's golf, they are currently right now playing in the Big 12 tournament at Whispering Pines in Trinity, Texas. Does any one of my Houston friends know where that is? Fun poll question of the day, Mark or Patrick?
I definitely don't. I had to eat the hot wings.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I do.
Okay. Just north of Houston, next to Huntsville, if you're Kurt.
Okay,
So I don't
that's
know how
not-
far
okay.
that. It's like
That's-
what, an hour, 2 hours north of Houston?
That's like saying you're from
That's
OKC.
just
Have you
north
heard
of
of
Houston,
like
man. It's
Union?
just north
I
of
don't know.
Houston.
I don't know.
That's yeah. It's just north of Ada. It's Norman.
Yeah, well, I tried. I'm not very good.
Yeah,
at
you
that,
tried.
as
It's
you
okay.
already know. But they are tied fourth at currently at
Oh,
1 under. Now
goodness.
they've had some weather delays, so they've actually suspended play. They're coming back really early tomorrow morning, but they've actually reduced the holes from 72 to 54. So it is going to be a shortened tournament. So hopefully they can to bounce back. I know they had some late birdies going into today before the weather. So hopefully they can continue that momentum.
If that
throughout
screws
the
us,
next-
we riot. If it screws us, we riot, Matt.
Absolutely. And it's a huge deal. I mean, a whole round
Yeah.
they don't get to play. I mean, that's
Imagine
massive.
we go in and we lose by like 2 strokes. That's crucial.
Yeah.
You can't just take 18 holes away. Go ahead, Matt.
Massive. No, you're absolutely correct. So we'll have to keep an eye, keep on track for what they're doing as well. OU men's baseball. I know I gave them a little bit of a hard time, but they're actually on a winning streak, 5 games in a row.
Wow.
And I actually didn't, see, but their overall record 25-13, which I need to ask our baseball correspondent, Ryan Heil, what that actually means in the grand scheme of college baseball, if that's good, not good, where other teams are at. But hey, winning more than half their games. So
I
really
think it's
can't complain
tournament
about
good.
that.
I think
I
it's
think
like
it's good.
I think it's tournament good.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
We'll have to get a little bit more insight
Yeah.
from Heil on that. But they just had a 3-game series against KU. They won all 3, outscored them 46 runs to 12. And the last game was 24-4, had 14 hits and 11 walks drew. I mean, I saw a replay of it. They had some hot bats throughout that whole series. So looking good right now. They play ORU, who they played just a couple weeks ago. So I'm not really sure how they do the scheduling for both softball and baseball. It's really confusing to me, but going to play ORU again. And then they have a 3-game series against Kansas State coming up. So that's all I got for the Circle the Wagons. Just a couple quick updates, but looking forward to seeing what the future holds for a lot of these programs coming up.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Matt. NFL draft 2 days away, boys. 2 days until the NFL draft goes to Las Vegas. You guys just missed it.
Yeah.
And
We saw
Matt-
stuff getting set up,
I
though.
know.
It was awesome.
I'm
Yeah,
glad we're not
Matt-
there for it.
Matt told me there was like boats getting ready. They're gonna, in the freaking fountains or whatever.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's
nuts. Vegas. It doesn't really surprise me. We actually from our room, we could see the Bellagio fountain where they're going to set up and do everything, and they're going to carousel the players out. I mean,
Wow.
it's such a Vegas thing. It's probably going to be incredible, honestly.
That's crazy. So Jacksonville Jaguars are officially on the clock. They have the first overall pick. I know we're all not NFL draft experts, but does anybody have a guess at who's going to go number 1 overall to the Jags?
All along, it's been Aiden Hutchinson, but like today, Monday, to be clear, word came out that the GM actually likes Trayvon Walker more, and today Walker got as high as like a minus 155 favorite to be the number 1 pick. Yeah, he became the consensus favorite at books in Vegas at some point during the day. Maybe something has flipped this evening, and I saw Aiden Hutchinson as high as minus 300. No, minus 300. Yeah, sorry guys, to go second, meaning someone else definitely going first. So as the holder of a Trayvon Walker plus 300 ticket, I feel very vindicated, but that's not really what it's about.
What about
Akeem? What's his position?
Ekwono?
He's a defensive end. He's an edge guy. Pat, I saw some of the same with Icky today. That he's still in play too. It's hard to know with some of this, but I don't know why if you're the Jaguars, you'd be putting fake stuff out there. So
yeah. Just they need someone. They got to protect their franchise quarterback. He got hit a lot last year. So if Trevor Lawrence is going to be your guy, then if you think the offensive tackle Walker or like Pat said, the guy from North Carolina State, I mean, I guess why not? Left tackles are getting paid second highest to a lot of positions, so they're going to give it to him. Go ahead.
I got a cool story about Trayvon Walker. When I worked in Macon, Georgia, he went to high school at Upson Lee High School, which is in Thomaston, Georgia, which is about an hour away from Macon, which was in my area that I covered. He was a freaking in high school football. Obviously, he's about to go number 1 overall in the draft, but the kid was on the high school basketball team, and that team won 65 straight games.
Wow.
And not only that, they crushed people, They won like 3 straight state titles. They were freaks of nature. And Walker was a big part of that team. So it's funny now to when I saw that he was going to Georgia, when I worked in Georgia, I was like, oh, cool. He'll go to Georgia, maybe get some burn. Never thought he was going to be a number 1 overall pick. It's really cool to see. And I don't know the kid personally or anything. I'm not boasting like that. But it's just a funny story that I remember when
small world.
The rise has been meteoric because he was like a fringe first rounder at the beginning of the process and just crushed every measurable since then, and won everyone over.
Yeah, he's a freak athlete. Mark, Pat, do you guys have any guys you're hoping your teams take? I know the Texans 3rd overall. Pat, any interest at the 3rd pick?
It's always tough to know what Jack Easterby is thinking.
Time.
It's every time.
I don't care.
Honestly,
he doesn't care.
I don't care. He's going to do the worst he can. And I know that. Yeah, we'll probably go with Evan Neal, though, offensive lineman from Alabama. He's 6'7", 300 plus. I'm okay with that pick.
That's a great pick.
Yeah. Mark, what about the Falcons? Your Falcons?
I don't know, man. Not quarterback, obviously.
Yeah.
And if they go receiver, I'd like to see them go Jamison Williams. The one that I've seen mocked there a bunch is Garrett Wilson. And no thanks. I think investing in receiver overall probably isn't the right move. But if you're going to, I think Williams has upside, and that's the move. I would like to see someone like Kyle Hamilton, who can be deployed all over the field in cool ways. I would like to see Kayvon Thibodeau if he falls. I think that would be a great addition to the pass rush, and just get a freak, the kind of guy that the Falcons haven't had on defense in ever would be super cool to me. Derek Stingley, Sauce Gardner, any of them, name your guy. If one of the offensive linemen falls, that's great. Basically, guys, not a quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was like, so basically just anyone who's
any
not
position.
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm not crazy about Drake London either, but if you can get Desmond Ridder in the 2nd round, fine. Buy your lottery ticket then. Don't do it in at 8.
Let it be known, Mark Hall, all in on Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, and I appreciate you asking me. Appreciate you asking me as well what I think the Green Bay Packers will do late in the 1st round at number 28. I hope to God they take a wide receiver. If they don't trade for one for Debo or DK Metcalf, or even Tyler Lockett, I don't know. They need a big name receiver. I assume none of those guys that Mark mentioned, even though I do like Chris Olave, some of those guys. I just don't think they'll be there by the 28th pick. Someone will eventually take them. I'm really worried about Green Bay. They have not drafted entirely well. They need some offensive linemen, but knowing what Green Bay does, they'll draft defensively. So thank you for asking, Mason. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Malik Willis will be on that board. Don't you worry.
Oh my God. And they're going to be like, well,
Well, I've seen some stuff.
We haven't seen Jordan Love.
I saw something that they might do a trade for Jordan. They might try to get rid of him. I don't know what his value would be to a team, but I mean, we saw him in the Kansas City game last year. I don't know. I don't know what his value would be, but we'll see.
When A-Rod signed that deal, that was a lot of the buzz was like, all right, so who trades for Jordan Love now? Because otherwise he's not signing back with the Packers in a couple of years. And so what, they just wasted a 1st-round pick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. Well, sorry, Matt. The Packers didn't have an early pick, so I didn't really think
you're good.
We needed to talk about it.
I had to jump on in there.
Yeah, I guess you had to jump in. I get it. We'll talk about just a real quick. I saw a mock draft from ESPN. Todd McShay and Mel Kiper Jr. went back and forth for a 3-round mock draft. I thought it was interesting to see where some OU guys landed. Nick Bonito, 55th overall to the Cardinals. That is a 2nd-round pick. And then you look at Perion Winfrey, 76 overall, 3rd-rounder to the Ravens, according to Mel Kiper. Sorry, Todd McShay had the pick for the Cardinals. Kiper had the pick for the Ravens. So that's who projected each person to go where. I think Nick Bonito to the Cardinals after losing Chandler Jones would be great. Would be great for Nick. I think it will work out really well. Perion Winfrey to the Ravens. Add another Sooner to the Ravens collection.
Why not? That's why I like him so much.
Yeah, why the hell not? Pat's number 5 team.
Yeah.
Or no, 6. Sorry.
I think it's 3 or 4, depending on if Perion goes.
Are you going chronological order or favorite order? Because then it's
favorite.
Yeah.
He's got lists all over.
That's fair. Yeah, I think it'd be. I know that those are the 2 guys who are gonna get their name called. It's going to be interesting to see where they land.
Oh, dude, I think we also, Delarian Turner-Yell is getting drafted. It might not be early, but is getting drafted. I think that Isaiah Thomas is a lock to get drafted. I think there's no way he doesn't get drafted. Ryan Asamoah is a lock to get drafted, even though personally, this whole 2nd round buzz, 3rd round buzz that you hear around Asamoah, I think that's one of him and Winfrey a little bit, honestly. It's Senior Bowl kind of transcending what it actually is, where it's no, we're going to go back to the film and you're still that same guy that we saw on film. It's just that you looked really good this week. So those guys are, there was 1st round buzz around them and they're not going to get there. I think Kennedy Brooks can play in the NFL. I think he's got that kind of, hey, I'm not athletic, but I know how to run a football pretty well and find the hole when it's there, that can work. And, if my team brings him in as an undrafted free agent after the draft, I'm not mad about that at all.
No. If you can give me a running back and get 4 yards every time he runs, give it to him.
Exactly.
Why not?
I also think Mike Woods is probably going to make it somewhere. Maybe not as a 1, 2, 3 receiver, but guys like that who willing to play special teams and they've got good hands on 3rd down. Sure, why not? Every team's got roster spots for those guys, so I think he's going to fit in nicely with the team too.
Think you're right, guys. Let's talk some NBA. How about that?
Ooh, bounce.
You guys want to talk some round ball?
One of my favorite topics.
Some round ball? Yeah, we got some. We got the Celtics up 3-0 as of Monday night. They're playing the Brooklyn Nets right now, up by about 12 as we record this.
Wow!
So they have a chance to sweep the Nets.
Wow!
Be super great for the
I would
Celtics.
love if Katie was swept in the first round.
I know, and he's
what
got
a cupcake.
Yeah, he's not looking good. We're not going to talk about the Celtics game and the games that are going on Monday night because we don't want to talk about, what's going to happen. I mean, we can kind of touch on how the series is going, I guess, and maybe hear about it. But as of right now, we got Miami up 3-1 on Atlanta. I kind of saw that coming just because the Heat are the top seed. That's just kind of how it works.
They're going to sweep.
Yeah. Yeah. Minnesota and Memphis tied 2 games apiece. New Orleans and Phoenix tied 2 games apiece. Milwaukee up on Chicago 3-1. Golden State leads Denver 3-1. Any of that surprise anybody so far? I think my biggest surprise is probably New Orleans and Phoenix tied at 2.
Yeah, but Devin Booker missing time.
Yeah.
That's the thing is suddenly you look around and it's Chris Paul and a bunch of dudes who are catch and shoot players. Right. And hey, wait, maybe the Pelicans are going to win this series. So, I don't want to get crazy here, but it's going to take a lot out of Chris Paul and a lot out of DeAndre Ayton to, take them across the finish line in this one because Devin Booker's not walking through that door.
Anybody?
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think my 2 biggest things are one, the men's Minnesota and Memphis series. I think everyone was super high on Memphis coming in.
Yeah.
And Karl-Anthony Towns, Russell, those guys have really showed up and played well. Honestly, they could maybe overtake Memphis in this series, which I don't think anyone would have predicted, especially with Minnesota not being in the playoffs for quite a long time. So they're really doing well. And Cat is playing out of his mind. The other thing I just want to hit on, which I know is one of the games playing tonight with Boston and the Nets, is just really the whole Ben Simmons saga. I mean, they traded for him. They would hope he'd be ready for playoffs. He's a huge part of the team, right? Giving away James Harden and a lot of other assets for it. So the whole saga is just compelling to me. I know he was looking to play in game 4. I guess he got some back soreness. Who knows? I guess at this point, it doesn't really matter if they get swept, but going into next season, I can't imagine the Nets are very happy. None of the players are. I mean, they expected him to play, and now they're possibly getting swept. So
if they get swept,
storyline.
If they get swept, Steve Nash doesn't have a job like tomorrow. I think that experiment's probably done. Especially after Kyrie Irving at the beginning of the season said they don't have a head coach. I feel like everybody's a head coach on the team.
That was tough.
Yeah. That's a tough look for Steve Nash. Also, the games that are going on Monday night that we won't really know the results of. The Raptors facing elimination against the Sixers as of now, up by 8 at 8:04 Central Time on Monday night. The Raptors are up. And the Jazz and the Dallas Mavericks tied at 2 games apiece. That game is in Dallas later on Monday night. Matt, do you
right next door?
Yeah, I was about to say, are you sort of a Mavs guy at all? Because you're a Stars guy.
Yeah, I'm a huge Stars guy, the hockey team. I do root for the Mavs when obviously it's not the Thunder they're playing, but I think we were at the pool in Vegas watching the Mavs play. I think they blew a lead in like the last couple minutes of the game. Probably should have had it, but it's the Mavs. I'm gonna root for them. I like Luka. We'll see what happens. Should be a good game tonight for sure. But yep, right next door. So
you mean fat white James Harden?
No, a better version of James Harden. Yeah,
Absolutely
and younger.
Not. Absolutely. I mean, younger and better now than James Harden now. Zero doubt at all. But
Mark, you're a big Harden guy. What do you think of the Sixers right now?
Oh, he's broken. They're going to win the series, I think. I mean, that when you go up 3-0, that's just how that's going to be. Scotty Barnes is hurt. It's just unfortunate stuff for the Raptors. But yeah, that ain't the James Harden of 2018, right? That's not 65 win James Harden. This guy is different. He's as cerebral as ever. And that's the thing he's never gotten enough credit for, is how smart he is as a basketball player, but he can't carry you the same way. And Joel Embiid can only do so much, I think, in 2022's NBA. So that's not a contender for the Larry O'Brien trophy to me.
Yeah.
That's they just don't have it. James Harden needs a time machine to be that guy. If Tyrese Maxey can take a leap, maybe, but that's it.
Since we're still in the first round, does anybody have like a favorite for each conference? Give me a little finals preview that you just kind of have in your mind. I'm a homer, so I'm gonna say Celtics and Suns, just because that's the way I hope it plays out. But I really personally truly do not know if the Celtics can get past either Milwaukee or get past Philadelphia. So I don't really know.
Yeah, you do. Shut up. You're not worried about Philly. Shut up. You shut your mouth. How dare you? Kind of reverse jinx BS you're pulling.
No.
It's gonna be the Warriors and the Celtics, and either Jason Tatum goes insane for 7 games or the Warriors win the series. That's what I think would happen.
Okay, that's fair. Pat, I know you're a big NBA guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bucks here. Mostly because I like that they're a well-rounded team, and I like teams a lot more than just like one or two guys.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That was good insight.
Take you. Yeah.
Patrick is, for those who don't know, Patrick is not a well-known like big NBA guy. So he was
great
insightful
take.
there.
Yeah,
it was a good
really
take.
He gets sports.
Hey, dude, yeah. I don't know if you guys saw, you had a better take than Colin Cowherd today. Colin Cowherd gave his top 5 NBA players under the age of 25. 3 of them were over 25.
It's so bad.
What an idiot.
It's bad.
He's a moron.
The way he's become USC Skip Bayless is just
disgusting.
It's embarrassing for him. He used to be like a reputable voice, You
know.
To
He
be
did.
able to fill time the way that he's been able to with actually insightful stuff for a long time, and then go full with it is that's an embarrassing turn.
Yeah, it's gross. It's gross. Matt?
Yeah. Again, I don't know why this always happens. And I don't know if Mark's looking at my notes or if he just likes my picks all the time and he's just really appreciative of my insight and what that looks like. But I'll switch it up. I was going to say Golden State Celtics. I'll do a little pivot. I do have Golden State. I think right now, since Phoenix is Devin Booker's hurt, I had them going. But the Devin Booker injury, I think, is just going to be too much to overcome. So I got Golden State, very well-rounded team. They have like 4 shooters. I mean, you can't guard them all. And Jordan Poole is playing absolute lights out. So I got them winning the West. And then I like what Patrick said about Milwaukee. So I'm going to go Golden State, the Bucks, just because they're defending champs. They're playing good. They're a well-rounded team. And Giannis is almost impossible to stop. So that's my finals.
How bad is Booker's injury? How long is he supposed to be out? It's like a hammy, right?
Weeks.
Oh,
Which means I think he's going to be safe for round 2, or at least coming back for some of round 2. But round 1, man, it's over. It's cooked. He's not coming.
Yeah. I get that. Well, I hope the Celtics. I hope the Celtics are there. My son's pick isn't going to be good, but I hope my Celtics make it. That would be a lot of fun. Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. Shout out. So are we doing a must watch this week? Did Ryan give us one or no?
He didn't.
Okay.
No.
Hey,
That's
go
right.
to YouTube and find the spring game. Watch the whole thing. Don't just watch highlights. We got to know these guys.
Yeah. Watch.
That's your must watch.
Exactly. Let us know on our YouTube channel. Comment on our YouTube channel. Who's your MVP of the spring game? What was your favorite moment of the spring game weekend? What do you think of Baker Mayfield's statue? Let us know on Twitter, on Instagram, on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, all that stuff, guys. We love hearing from you, love being engaged with you guys. So help us out right there. We'll move on to our PGP MVPs, guys. It was quite a week, and I will start with our MVPs. My MVP of the week is Angel Hernandez, MLB umpire. And if you don't know who Angel Hernandez is, he's the bad one.
Okay.
He's the bad one. If you don't know who he is, just look him up. He's arguably the worst Major League Baseball umpire in the history of the sport. He still has a job because he constantly sues the MLB for trying to fire him because he's Hispanic, which is hilarious in a league made up of like mostly Hispanic players. It's hilarious that he thinks that. He's terrible. He got in an argument last night in which he had to eject somebody because they flipped out on him for a terrible strike 3 call and just unfazed. Didn't care. He called strike 3 on Kyle Schwarber for the Philadelphia Phillies and didn't blink an inch. Ball was 3 inches inside. Didn't even care. Did it earlier in the game too. Struck a dude out. Ball was like 4 inches outside. Didn't care. Just kept strong. That's why he's my MVP. In the face of adversity and everyone telling you you're a bum and you're terrible at your job, just look them dead in the eyes and shake your head like you know better than them. That's why he's my MVP, Angel Hernandez.
In the face of everything that is right.
Yeah, be wrong.
Be
And
wrong.
Stick to it.
Be wrong. Go home and cash the bet you placed the day before.
Yes, exactly. Pat, who you
Jesus.
got?
All right. I got DG and Nick Evers here because of a social media interaction that I had with one another that I just really liked. Nick Evers posted a photo. I didn't love the caption, but I'll read the caption anyways. The caption is, "Go ahead and doubt me. I promise I will prove you wrong." Nick, no one's doubting you. You're amazing. You're a 4-star QB. You play for the University of Oklahoma. I'm going to tell you right here. The program guys are not doubting you.
No.
Anyways, Dylan Gabriel's response to that was very similar to our responses. "I don't doubt you." And then he used 2 really cute emojis. So like there's a broship there that I really like. And then Nick said another cute emoji and a heart. So just
Love
good
of
vibes in the
romance.
QB
It's
locker
getting
room.
serious.
It
Yeah.
really is.
It is. And we haven't had really good vibes in the QB room the past few years, in my opinion. We just haven't. So it's good to see that again. Those two are my MVPs for, supporting one another and being good teammates.
I think you brought up a good point, Pat, that coaches always love to say competition is great for the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
In the quarterback room, I don't think it's great. I think Baker and Kyler's relationship was so good because Baker knew he was the number one quarterback. I think that Kyler's relationship was so good with his quarterbacks because everyone knew Kyler Murray was the guy. Jalen Hurts had a good relationship with everyone. Everyone knew Jalen Hurts was the guy. When Spencer and Caleb were fighting for a job, you heard all the time about how there was infighting and how they didn't really like each other. These guys, since DG knows he's the starter, their relationship's going to be a lot better. It's not going to be as stressful. And there's something to be said about that.
Definitely.
It's just not weird, right?
No.
It's just, it could be weird and it's not weird. That's the best thing.
Yeah. And it's not like that in like linebacker rooms. You know what I mean? It's always different, or even running back rooms. It's always different with the quarterback because everything's different with the quarterback.
There's only one.
Yeah.
There's only one, and you're not going to switch them in and out willy-nilly like you can with a running back.
Yeah. Mark, MVP.
MVP, give me Miguel Chavis. He was the head coach of one of the teams this weekend and is in a lot of ways becoming like a social media voice and face for a lot of our online recruiting efforts. And he's doing a great job. He's coming into his own and clearly connects with the players in a really cool way. He's a younger guy, but is absolutely capitalizing on that. And you just know he's absorbing everything from everyone he's around. This is his first on-field coaching gig, and we are seeing as much of him as we are any other coach. And that's not an accident, I don't think. He's done a great job and really shown well to the Oklahoma football program.
I can't remember who it was. It was a guy who's on the OU football staff who's very active on Twitter. I can't remember his name, and I'm really annoyed right now. But he
talking about JR?
Yeah,
Sandlin,
five locks this weekend. That's massive because OU didn't spend official visits. All these were unofficial visits, which if you know anything about recruiting, that's a big deal.
It's huge.
That's massive to have 5 commitments, and especially knowing Brent Venables' new policy on commitments and what those mean.
Yeah.
To have those kids there and looking them in the eye and telling them you need to know what commitment means, and they still do it anyway. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
And the caliber of guys that were in this weekend, I hear really good things about.
Oh my God. And it's after the weekend, but we offered DJ Lagway today, the 5-star quarterback out of Willis, Texas.
Really?
And yeah. Lebby was down there today and gave him an offer.
Nice.
We're not going to be offering a ton of quarterbacks, right?
No.
The only other offers he's extended were to Nick Evers and Jackson Arnold. So Lagway has been on campus a couple of times. I think he was at the game yesterday or this weekend. So man, could be big things coming there.
Could be fun. All right, Matt, round it out, brother.
Yeah, I said a little bit earlier at the beginning of the podcast, but my MVP goes to the people of Oklahoma for showing up when Brent called them out. That's exactly how I'm wearing this sweatshirt. I know it makes me look good. Thank you, Mark, for letting me buy it from you. But it was the people of Oklahoma as one coming together. They were called out specifically to come out to the game, and they did not disappoint. Hopefully that is what's to come into the future, bringing that type of atmosphere, that type of energy to the games. I'm super excited to be, but MVP got to go to my peeps back in Oklahoma.
And that's how you get 5 recruits within.
Exactly.
Right.
Huge.
Yeah.
With no officials.
No officials.
No.
It's
different now.
So cool.
It's just different now, man. It's just we had all this talk about, is OU going to be ready for the SEC? Are they going to be ready to do all this stuff? And by all indications, they're going to be ready because the way that they're
100%.
building the program to be SEC ready and they're already at this point. It's so insane that Brent Venables, the team hasn't even played a football game yet, and they're already here. They haven't even played a football game yet. It's amazing to see. I'm excited, and it all could crash and burn, but it doesn't feel like it's gonna.
Right.
And I think that's the best part about it.
There's no house of cards thing going on. They're laying this foundation brick by brick, and they're doing it the right kind of way. There's no wool being pulled over guys' eyes. He is a straight shooter and gonna put the work in. And I really like it a lot. I like what we're seeing.
I like it a lot. The last thing I want to end on, just because I just now thought of it, and we got time. Where are you guys going? Nowhere. You know what I mean? So Brent Venables had all those alumni on the field on Saturday. And to me, I got the feeling and heard from some other people who were in the OU media that the alumni felt like they were used a lot for recruiting purposes in the past regime, that they didn't really feel as though they were part of the program. They were there to help me. And that's pretty much it.
Right.
So for Brent to have everyone out there, take the group picture at midfield, and by all indications from alumni who were there, they weren't asked to do like a lot of things. They weren't asked to like spend time with recruits. They weren't asked to do any of that. They were just there to enjoy being in Norman and being a part of the program. And I think that is something that is massive and will be massive. Not even next year, like 5 to 10 years down the road. It's going to pay off dividends.
It's the kind of vibes move that a program guy puts in place. You know, hey, everyone come back. You don't have to do all this stuff with recruits, but man, isn't it pretty cool that all the guys you played with are also back, and we'll just sprinkle recruits here and there, and they just see what it's like for guys who have been Oklahoma football players. You built the program on their backs.
You get why Kyler and Baker were there, like, for their statue and everything. That's understandable. But like CeeDee Lamb was there. He doesn't have any tie to Brent Venables. There's no tie. Perion Winfrey was there still. He's getting ready for an NFL draft. He was there. A lot of guys who had zero ties to Brent Venables or zero ties to some of the staff were there. And I think that says a lot about the direction it's going.
Wasn't like Grant Calcaterra there?
Yeah.
Man, if you're
dude, when I saw that tweet, I was like, are you serious?
Right.
He's showing up.
And and that Brent includes him too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing to me, is like, it's almost like an opt-in kind of thing. It's like, oh, Grant, you're still a program guy. Come on to town, man.
Oh yeah.
We got you. Come on in. Cool. Let me introduce you to our tight end recruits. Just
yeah.
You don't have like an agenda, but it's just always good when you can bring stars back, guys who have been there, done that with this school and this team, and can tell them about it.
It's great. And just like that, episode 16 is a wrap. Be sure to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Give us a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Helps us out a whole lot, guys. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Program Guys with a Z. On our Facebook page, Program Guys Podcast. I'm still getting used to the Facebook page. We post some good stuff there, guys.
Yeah.
You should check us out as always. Thank you for listening, guys. Thanks for spending some time with us, and I hope everybody has a great week. Pat, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.